Hello, beautiful friends. I am very excited to share some intuitive prophetic insights and encouragements for this season with you in this video. Really, it is such a beautiful marker moment at this shift of ages, and I trust that you will be uplifted. If you are watching live, welcome. If you are watching by the replay or on YouTube, welcome also. I hope that if you are watching by the YouTube channel, you will hit the subscribe button and come back for more videos like this. This is really a time of landing the upgrades. That's how I'm titling this video tonight, these intuitive prophetic insights after what I call the crash bang wallop of August and the preceding months, the light infusions, the wake up calls, the soul work, the expansions. We are in perhaps what one could call a meaningful and productive pause moment for a grounding, a landing of all of those beautiful infusions and upgrades into something embodied. So it bids the question, does your everyday life reflect your true level of consciousness? Is your everyday life in congruence? Are you owning who you are, not just in theory now, but this is time for the shift from the theory to the practical. We are living in the higher octaves. Are we living in the higher octaves? Are we now harmonizing all of the incredible infusions, insights, upgrades, all of the soul work into a meaningful expression in our everyday life? That's really the first thought here tonight, is that we are landing the upgrades. Secondly, we're writing the map. We're writing the map for this journey, this highway of holiness, because there isn't one for the land that we are co-creating, right? We know the deal now. We know that we can either keep regurgitating what we've already seen and what we've already heard, or we can be a people whose eye has not seen and ear has not heard what has been prepared for us, but we receive it by the Spirit, by the impulse of Spirit, and we walk it out. We literally create the new path that we walk on. We literally are creating the new grid that we are walking on. And this is being done through deep internal connection work. As I would like to say it like this, the meditation now is not just what we do, it's actually who we are. It's the very life that we live. Can I say that again? The meditation is not just something that we're doing, it is the very life that we live. It is who we are. The breakdowns, the demolitions have done their work. And now we are relaying groundwork for projects, for a full-on autonomous life going forward. The absolute fullness of who we are, right? So the new structures, the new containers are us ourselves, our relationship to ourselves, and then outworked in our relationship to others. So a slowdown of sorts, a productive pause, but not a drop off. A slowdown with a purpose is where we're at, I believe. A reframing, a reconfiguration for many, a recalibration, where these downloads and upgrades are being fully integrated, worked into something useful, a vessel or a container for a practical purpose. So first of all, we are the container, and then that embodiment is going to be reflected back to us by an external creation. A home, a project, a job, a business, a relationship, an outworking that is reflecting back this sacred site that we are. I did a message on that a little while ago, that we are the sacred sites, that we are laying the grid lines. And I really believe that this is a productive pause moment. A holding pattern. It could feel like a holding pattern, but not idle time. I want to call this, and I'll say this is point 3, it's a detailing. It's a detailing. We're about halfway through a great shift, which began with a fresh boost of energy in 2019, and it'll find a bit of a culmination in 2024, I believe. But this is a detailing. This is a halfway moment when like when you get your car detailed, they clean out dust from places you didn't even know you had places. I believe there's a grand detailing taking place right now, the embodying and the integrating and the landing of new timelines, of the upgrades that we've been experiencing. So take a deep breath. It's a retrieval also of keys. I keep getting this picture all week long of someone that has been for a ramble, a long ramble in the woods of initiation, and there were so many things to carry with you coming out of the woods, coming out of the wilderness, that maybe we dropped a few keys along the way. And you know what it's like when you get home after you've been out for a long walk in the woods, and you want to go back into your house and you realize, oh my gosh, my keys must have fallen out of my purse. My keys must have fallen out of my pocket. And I feel like this is a time when some people are going to be needing to go back and retrieve some keys, needing to pick back up some pieces of themselves that they still need to go back and get and bring their full, bright, awesome, amazing selves into the months ahead. So there's no stone left unturned. And you can simply ask, remind me, Spirit, is there anything I need to pick back up? Is there any marker that I've missed? Was there any corner that I didn't turn in this to take me into the fullness of the destiny that you have for me? And I want to say Humpty Dumpty might have fallen off the wall, but Humpty is reclaiming every piece of his dynamic, superpowered identity in God as Christ's radiant, superpowered body. So do not plan to go forward with some of your pieces still missing. Cinderella is being called out of the basement, and that's going to mean something to somebody, because sometimes Cinderella comes up and out of the basement a little bit, but then she scurries back down in there. But this is a season where we are getting ready. We're putting on the ball costume, the ball dress, and when we're going to come out of this basement, we're never going to go back again, okay? We are never going to go back again. So let me just reiterate some of the key points for this season. We're landing the upgrades. This is a meaningful and productive pause so that we can ground and land all of those beautiful infusions, those awakenings, those revelations into something embodied. That's what this is all about right now. And asking ourselves, does my everyday life reflect my true upgraded level of consciousness? Does my everyday life reflect this true upgraded level of consciousness? Am I still in the theory, or am I ready to really put it into the practical, right? To live in the higher octaves, never going back. Someone is saying, beautiful. We're harmonizing. We're writing the map for the new journey. We're laying the grid that isn't even laid for us to walk on. We are maybe feeling like we're in some holding patterns, but it's not idle time. I want to encourage you with that. It's a detailing. It's that detailing of the car, getting the dust out of the places where we didn't even know we had places, right? And it's a retrieval of keys. It's a retrieval of every missing piece that needs to come with us. And as we know, we know this one, we're shedding everything that we are not. Cinderella's being called out of the basement, and she's never going to go back again. The next point is trust your gut. Trust your gut. That's a big one. That means a lot. This is absolutely listen to your intuition. Listen to your body. And And it's about also processing deep kicks to the gut. Kicks that are actually just still wounds deep in our subconscious. We are processing some deep kicks to the gut. So when I say trust your gut as a prophetic word, as an intuitive message, it's really listen to that gut place. Things that may have doubled you over in the past and have been held in the body are being released at this time. Maybe you want to take a deep breath right there. Can I say that again? Things that may have doubled you over in the past and have been held in the body are being released, and there's an expulsion of toxins, right? Literally, physically, spiritually, in every way. And I want to say this as a key word for this season as well. The body is purging herself. The body is purging herself. I want to refer to Revelation 3:15 and 16, where it says, words in red here, not cold, not fervent, but tolerating mixtures. So because, quote, you are lukewarm and neither hot nor cold, I will spit and vomit you out of my mouth. Now, can we just stop and reframe that for a minute? The I being that's vomiting here, I, the Christ, and the bride are one. All right, we're already one. He who's joined to the Lord is one spirit with him. So this is not a sky god getting revolted by people and spewing them out of his proverbial mouth. This is us becoming so sensitive, so spiritually in tune, that we can't handle toxic mixtures anymore. We are spewing that stuff out of our oneness bridegroom mouth. We are literally purging ourselves. The body is purging herself, right? So you may have experienced this, and you may be experiencing this more acutely as your awakening progresses and your deconstruction begins to be complete, that you are becoming so spiritually sensitive that you cannot entertain for one moment a thought or a mixture that is toxifying your spiritual body. So the body is purging herself. We have been journeying toward this for a long while, and now there is a renewed, oh my God, not another one, yes, another one, a renewed purging, right, to lead to a straightening up from anything that formerly doubled you over. You will become almost as though it was invincible. And I don't mean not human, right? I don't mean in that bravado kind of way, but in such a way that we are becoming so strong in our core self, the true core uppercase self, Christ self, that we will not be doubled over by pain when we can allow the true purging, right? The true initiation, right? You have to, when you're an initiate, you have to go through some painful and difficult processes. And right now I feel like there's just an outworking of some things that are causing us to straighten up from doubled over pain. Hands that have fallen down are being strengthened and lifted, and straight paths for the feet are being made here by this through honesty and clarity of values. All right, what knocks us over, what doubles us over, think about it, what's doubled you over in pain in the past is when you weren't aligned to your true self, when you weren't living in your honest true self, when you weren't aligned with your own clarity of values. So we get blindsided, we let our boundaries down, the wrong, we get infiltrated, and it kicks us in the gut. But we're now embodying the truth of our full self so strongly that we're straightening up from that. And there's a purging of all those things that formerly would trip us up. We're becoming super sensitive and not able to entertain mixtures. So we're literally spewing mixture out of our own mouth. Again, we're in a divine pause that's allowing us an opportunity to lay a new foundation of a whole new way to live, a whole new sacredness of earth life. And I referenced this a little bit in my message last week on oneness. And if you didn't catch that, I really would love for you to get that. Yes, the portal is open. Beautiful comment. Yes, indeed. We are in this divine pause to get us to catch up, to integrate, to harmonize, because this is not a game. This is really for real. We are right now coming into a place of opportunity to lay a whole new foundation, a new grid for a whole new way to live and a whole new sacredness of earth life. That's a feminine aspect of awakening. It's an intuitive way to live. Again, the meditation is not something that we do. It's something that we are. It's a whole entire way of living. But it's going to take a really big commitment, right? It's going to take a full-on faith commitment, a full, no mixture, purge the mixture, embodiment of who we really are. And I want to say at this point that I want to reference a title of a message that was, I feel, so timely, that in beginning of 2021, building a new landing strip. You know, you may feel like this pause is frustrating, but I want you to see at this recalibration, this retrieval of pieces of yourself that you may have left behind, this retrieval of keys, any kind of stopping that you may feel, I want you to see it as a benefit for you. I want you to see it as a gift, actually a gift to cause us to stop and really recalibrate and say, have I really retrieved every beautiful aspect of my unique soul that I'm going to bring with me into the new earth land, right? And I'm referring to building a new landing strip because some of us feel like we're trying to go forward, but it's like 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 2 steps back. We've been circling, and there's a reason for it. And I just want to go back to the beginning of 2021 with this prophetic word that we have to build a new landing strip, because we have to build something that's big enough, deep enough, and wide enough for our expanded perception and understanding of who we are as the sons of God. What kind of landing strip did you used to try and land your ministry on? What kind of landing strip did you used to try and land your life on? I can guarantee you it was too small, it wasn't deep enough, and you kept falling off the end, because what had to happen was we had to just quit that thing, get up and out of the way, and allow that too small landing strip to get busted up and smashed and completely reconstructed into a landing strip that's big enough, deep enough, and wide enough, which is never enough, but always enough, for an ever-expanding perception of ourselves as sons of God. Right? So if you feel like you're circling and you're frustrated in this beautiful, I'm going to call it a pregnant pause. I think that's a better way to describe this season. If you're feeling like you're in a pause, don't be frustrated. It's a pregnant pause, and it's an expected pause. If you're circling, it's because you're building or need to be about the business of building a new landing strip that is big enough for your expanded perception of yourself. Do you know they crucified Jesus? They murdered Jesus because he came to a land and a mindset of a teeny tiny landing strip mentality. They said, you can't call yourself a son of God. Even though their scriptures were written by Moses, their pedestalized leader, stated plainly that that's what they were. Psalm 82:6, I said, you are gods, you are all sons of the Most High, but you will die like men. Even though their scriptures said it, they had a small landing strip mindset. And Jesus was way too big. They crucified him because their teeny tiny landing strip mentality couldn't possibly land such a concept, even though their scriptures said it. So we are in a place right now, many of you who are watching this are leaders of this building of this new grid, building of this new landing strip. You're doing amazing work, and you're helping the many to recognize who they are, to wake up and recognize and remember who we really are as sons of God in the earth. You know, there's a leap at hand. All these pieces always weave together the way that they download into my spirit. And if you miss the front end of this and you're catching this midway through, catch the whole thing, because it all connects. But this mixture, this taking this leap out of mixtures, this purging, this vomiting all mixtures out of our own mouth, so that we can truly embody the upgrades, so that we can really land all of these light infusions, and to be that Son of God identity in the earth, that we can make it not a meditation that we do, but a meditation that we are, that we actually live as our lifestyle. This is a leap that's at hand, that's described, I think, beautifully by Thomas Merton. Listen carefully. You find peace not by rearranging the circumstances of your life, but by realizing who you are at the deepest level. It's a personal realization. It's an identity realization. And we can get so busy, we can get so distracted trying to reassemble and rearrange and reconfigure the puzzle pieces that are the gum that's had the flavor chewed out of it, that we actually stray from the core, that we actually stray away from the co-creative purpose and empowerment that we have to build the very new landing strip that we are going to land our Son of God identity on. Okay, so let's not stray from our core. Take a deep breath, if you will, and just come back to the true core self of who you are. The next message that comes right in the back of this is coming back to my roots. Been hearing that song all week. You remember the old song Odyssey? Maybe you're not old enough to remember it. I am. We used to dance in the disco to this one, coming back to my roots. And in the bridge it says, I'm not talking about the roots of the land, I'm talking about the roots of the man. We're talking about that spiritual identity roots, and being rooted and grounded. Being rooted and grounded. Now, if I may, I want to insert a little look at this scripture here right now, because I believe it's very important for this season. This is part of the intuitive prophetic messages, insights for this season. Ephesians 17, 18 and 19, you're probably familiar with it, says this, that Christ, this is for the purpose, that Christ may dwell in your hearts through faith. Then you, being rooted and grounded in love. Okay, I'm just going to stop there for a second, because I want to emphasize that this is saying that being rooted and grounded in love. We're not trying to be rooted. How many years of your Christian walk or your Bible reading walk were you trying to be rooted and grounded in love? I know I was. Hands, show of hands, please. Who was trying to be rooted and grounded in love? Let's overturn that nonsense. We are rooted and grounded in love. We can convince ourselves in our mind that we've been uprooted. That's separation, that's duality mentality. That is the sin that gets us into so much trouble. The root of sin, meaning not miss the mark, not doing wrong, but the root of it, which is the forfeiture of the God-empowered nature. Here what this is saying, the outcome that we're looking for is Christ dwelling in our hearts through faith. Then you being, it's already a done deal, just be what you be, rooted and grounded in love, will then have power together with all the saints to what? To comprehend the length and width and height and depth of the love of Christ, and to know this love that surpasses knowledge. This is an experiential knowledge of something you can't possibly have knowledge about. It's that vast and that great. Let's say that again. Of the love of Christ, to know this love, to have an experiential, just keep tasting, just keep tapping into that honey love that surpasses all this kind of knowledge. At that you may be, oh my God, hear this. If you will hear nothing else in this video, hear this. Be filled with all the fullness of God. It doesn't matter which emphasis you put on which syllable for that one, it's still mind-blowing. This is the goal, that we be filled with all the fullness of God. Now, what if that being rooted and grounded in love was not something that we have to try to do, but something that already was? And what if being filled with all the fullness of God was not something that we have to try to do, but already is? But all the while, we have all these barricades of beliefs in our minds. And that, my friends, is what is being disassembled in this time. That is the old, too small, too short, too narrow, too low, too shallow landing strip for which we cannot comprehend the love of God that surpasses knowledge. But, oh my goodness, take a deep breath right now. The activation aspect has begun. Take a deep breath into the absolute beingness that is already within you, in your core. We are not trying to be rooted. We are rooted. We're, like Odyssey says, coming back to our roots, and we are releasing every stronghold, every computation, every reasoning, every logismos, as the Greek puts it, that sets up barriers against this experiential embodiment of God as the sons of God that we are, embodying the fullness of God. How glorious is that? That is absolutely beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, next message for this season is for those things long dreamed of, seeming far out to sea. There's a turning of the tide to bring them in. But listen, there's a turning of the tide to bring them in. But the tide is not an external thing. The tide is within you. It's the turning of one's own understanding that is bringing the things that seemed far out there, far out to sea, is what's bringing them in. Because the very next part of those verses is Ephesians 3:20, which talks about God doing immeasurably more than we can ask, think, or imagine, according to his power working within us. So it's this co-creative understanding that as long as we stop, as long as we're trying to be, and as long as we're trying to embody the fullness, we miss the point. So please catch that video on oneness, because it is in the concept, just the surrender. It's not a trying. It's not trying to understand. You can't try and understand it. You have to surrender to what is. It's a surrendering to the Son of God identity that is already us. And so the things that have seemed far out to sea are going to start pulling in. They're going to start drifting in because of the change that's taking place within us. It's the change from the dual vision to the single eye. It's a time to not waver, no matter what these two eyes see, to keep the single eye faithful. Hebrews 10:23, to hold fast the confession of the hope, the elpis, the expectation. I told you it's a pregnant pause. Unwavering, for the one is faithful. The one is faithful. Can I say that again? The one is faithful. Now we can convince ourselves we're outside of that one, and then we see our dreams off in the distance. Or we can be in that one. We can be rooted, not try to be rooted, and in the same way be filled with all the fullness of God that we are. Let all the blockages go and watch your life change. Watch your life turn from doing a meditation to being a meditation, a habitation of the Spirit of God that now is taking us from a mixture to a complete embodiment of all of the upgrades that we have been trying to cram in to our little earth suit over the last 4 or 5 months. Can anybody relate, right? And you know what? There's only one way that we're going to be able to to completely land this new timeline in the so-called reality that we see with our eyes. There's only one way we can land it, and that is to completely take the leap, to follow Thomas Merton's beautiful advice that says you'll find peace not by rearranging those circumstances of your life, but by realizing who you are at the deepest level. This is the season and the time I believe we're in right now, this beautiful September heading toward equinox moment. Oh, it's so beautiful, about the halfway mark in a big shift in the shift of ages. So, destiny blockages are disintegrating because they're getting flushed out. That's connected to the body purging herself of the mixtures that we can't even entertain anymore. And it's a noticeable shift. You might be experiencing this as a spiritual detox, a physical detox, a mental, emotional, practical detox, clear up. It is a downright Marie Kondo-it, Martha Stewart-it moment where we are really doing a once-over of all of our physical house, our external house, in preparation. All right, and I'm just want to do one more house, a complete Marie Kondo of a house of beliefs, a house of narratives. Our relationship with ourself is getting completely detoxed. We are purging narratives, self-talk, beliefs that do not serve us in the reality of who we really are. There's an awaited shift it's imminent. It's right here, it's right now. And here's the preparation. It's a time of preparation. It's a pregnant pause. It's mama with her baby nesting, getting the crib ready, getting the room ready, right? Like I said, you may have felt like you were pushing ahead and you hit some blockages, or you felt like, my God, am I ever going to land this thing? It doesn't seem to be landing. And go back. Maybe there's some things you need to retrieve. I shared that in the earlier part. Retrieve some keys, retrieve some pieces of yourself. Parts of our soul are calling, don't forget me, right? I have that issue, right, with I'm slash everything. I've never been that one thing. I am communicator. I am dancer slash actress slash director slash teacher slash speaker slash author slash, right? And it's like, but if I will build a big enough landing strip with my co-creative empowerment, with a God who's able to do exceeding abundantly above all that I can ask, think, or imagine, then I will be able to land that full, sparkling star self that I am and that you are. Well, you'll be able to do it too, whatever that means for you, right? So this is a time of preparation. This is a creating space. This is leaning into the spaciousness of the inner abode, right? It's not a time to be frustrated. Let it work for you. Let this time of preparation be a creating space. Whether it's in the primordial waters of pure creativity, the asking and knowing that it's given, the believing that you have received, the integrating the senses of all those things that you're wanting to ask for, or whether it's a preparation time for the externals, getting the ducks in a row, getting the house in order, for the expected baby to truly land, that bigger version, that born again, remembered origin version of who you are in all of its beautiful superpower abundance. This is that time of preparation. And we are leaning into the spaciousness of the inner abode, where it's really all the preparation is taking place. So it's like when you take a trip, right? When you take a trip, this is going to sound like a parable. When you take a trip, you need to lighten your schedule around your departure day, right? So you're not running around, caught off guard, and in danger of missing your flight. So spaciousness is a gift right now. We still need some more lightening of the load to make room for new, unexpected, exceeding abundantly above all that we can ask or think, possibilities, things, people, relationships, and opportunities to land. So get some more unusable things out of the backpack, Marie Kondo it. And, you know, I've been having this experience with something that I've been wording, a description of something that I'm launching soon. And of all the millions of words to choose, you know, you want to arrange just the very few just right words to say precisely what it is that you want to communicate. And my God, that's an art. It really is. And I've been doing this for my own launch. I've been doing it simultaneously with a collaborative launch that I'm doing in a couple of weeks as well. And I really feel like this is an important thing to notice. Because, and this will be, I think, the final word here, this is a make your bed moment. This is a make your bed because you're going to lie in it moment. So make your bed without wrinkles, make your bed without stains, make your bed with clean sheets, make it with a just right pillow that you can confidently and restfully lay your head down on, because whatever's begun in the flesh has to be maintained in the flesh, and whatever is begun in the spirit can be maintained by the Spirit, and it's way, way, way more restful. I believe there's a cleansing and a purging to clear out beliefs that no longer serve about yourself, God, life, others. And our beliefs are either helping or hurting. They're either building up and unifying, or they're tearing down and dividing. And ask yourself, are there some beliefs about God, beliefs about yourself, that you need to review because they're simply not working? So I believe that September, in summary, is an opportunity to embody, integrate, downloads, upgrades, infusions, revelations of the past months, even of years. And there's this pregnant pause, a beautiful time of creativity, of reorganization, recalibration, sorting, preparing, building the landing strip for the full landing of the full self, as we already are rooted and grounded in love, containing that fullness of God. Let's let everything that's preventing an experience and an embodiment of that fall away. So we are coming together as well. We're remembering as the one body. We're eating the meat of the Logos to bring us together and unify us in the one, with the one mind, the one power, and we're getting a reframe, a new perception of ourselves. So let's just, if you're still hanging with this, take a deep breath, if you will. Let's just do more than hear this good word, this good encouragement tonight. Let's just take a moment to breathe it in. And I want to reiterate one thing that I feel like kind of just slipped over too fast, which is that this is really a time to trust and not waver. So this is a faith activation. Can I, dare I, get on board with the fullness of my in God self? Dare I land my full self? Dare I obnoxiously build a landing strip that's bigger than anybody ever seen before to land the fullness? This is the question you want to ask yourself. Dare I do it? Can I do it? Will I do it? Will I hold faith for that? Or will I cut corners? Will I take off my ball gown and go back to the basement? Will I notice the person that doesn't like the way I shine and cut a piece of myself off. A piece that I did remember but didn't remember into my beingness. There are many beautiful saints, many light workers who are watching right now, who will watch. And you know that this is the time. Word came a few weeks ago for the light bearers, the grid layers, the mystics, the way showers, and this is our time. And it's a preparation time, and it's a beautiful time. And I want to encourage you to notice this time, to take a deep breath right now and to get on board with your full self. That's it. Just breathe. Just take a moment to experience your core. There, that deep belly breath, the one that takes you right down to the very pelvic region. Come on, let's do another one. Take a deep breath. Feel it all the way down to the very root energy center, all the way down to the root, and release. We're activating now. Take another deep breath. And hold it and release. Because this is a moment to experience and bring on board your full self. An energetic reset, an embodiment of the upgrade. Faith unwavering, single eye, no room for anything but the whole Christ, the whole in Christ self. And whatever encompasses that for you, whatever your soul mission is, whatever your soul delights are, yes, bring them on board. Yes, land them on your increased, expanded landing strip. Purge what is mixture and retrieve every piece of you that is going forward to live in the higher octaves. To live in the higher octaves, not in, out, and shaken all about, but a permanent embodiment of the divine in the human, just like Jesus demonstrated. And the great news is we're already crucified in Christ. So don't fear what man can do to your being, to your soul. You're already crucified in Christ. You already died and live and are raised, revivified into likeness, into resemblance with Christ, seated in heavenly places, far above all principalities and powers and rulers and hosts of wickedness in the lower realms. You're already seated, so take your seat. Hold your joystick. Bring all the cargo of your beautiful, magnificent soul and beauty and self and spiritual self on board. And in this season of preparation, yes, by faith, the substance of things expected, the evidence of things not yet seen with the natural eyes, build that big, huge, wide, broad landing strip that can comprehend the height, the width, the breadth, the depth, the love of Christ. That is surpasses all knowledge. It busts right out of us. Our spirit is not in our body. Our body is in our spirit. Our body is in our soul. And we're beginning to stretch out and move into those realms of heaven, to not just get a glimpse of them, but to actually put our feet in the land of the heavenlies, to go through that open door that is standing open in heaven, Revelation 4:1, and go in and out and find that pasture. So breathe that breath, that pneuma breath. And if these encouragements, if these prophetic, intuitive insights have been a blessing to you tonight, pop me up a little comment below. Let me know that. And take a moment in this season of meaningful and productive pause, if that's what you're experiencing, if that resonates for you, to bring it all home and to recognize, not try to be rooted, but to recognize your rootedness in the tree of life, from whom you can never be uprooted. As long as the tree of life stands, you are its branches. Christ, the tree, the firstborn of the many brethren, is in whom we abide, whether we realize it or not. It is not a trying effort. And this is the shift. This is the mental shift that will take us forward. Yes, raising our frequencies and staying there. That's it, living in the higher octaves. I hope it's been an encouragement to you tonight. Share this. Bless somebody by sharing this. They'll be encouraged too. Even if they don't understand all of the words, they'll catch the frequency that's riding on these words tonight. And it might just be their breakthrough. So please do share this out. Come find me at michellefrancesca.com. And if you're on YouTube, thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like. It helps to get the video out. And I look forward to seeing you